You did it. You had a viral song, you're a success, and everything you've ever dreamed about happening for yourself as an artist is about to come true. Well, not exactly. I had my first viral song in late 2011, and in this video, I'm going to explain where I was when it happened, how it happened, and what happened as a result, and we're starting now. What's good, y'all? They call me Manny, and this is a new stories video where I tell you a little bit more about me and my career as an independent artist. In my last video, I talked a lot about the beginnings of my music career, and I ended the video by talking about how I felt like I needed to move from Boston to one of the major music markets, New York City, Miami, or Los Angeles, in order to have a successful career as a musician. If you haven't seen that video yet, I highly encourage you to click right here so you can listen to chapter 1, Humble Beginnings. This is chapter 2, my first big hit. I think you're gonna find this chapter of my story extremely interesting, and you're gonna wanna watch this video to the end so you can get all of the details. But before I start, hit that thumbs up notification, because if you don't, then YouTube won't recommend my videos to more people. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss one of my videos every single week, as well as hit that notification bell, because if you don't, then you won't be one of the first to know when a video is released. My YouTube is broken up into different styles of videos: music, of course, my brand new podcast called OnTheWayHome Radio, stories where I tell you a little bit more about my career, and Q&A where I answer your questions. This is a stories video, and if there's anything you want me to elaborate on a following stories video, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. So where was I when I went viral? Well, I had decided to move to Miami shortly after I graduated college. Again, I was in Boston. I decided I needed to move to a major music market, New York City, Los Angeles, or Miami. I had some cousins in New York City, so I thought about going there. I didn't know anybody in Los Angeles, but if I'm being honest, I chose Miami because my fiance was there and I knew I was gonna have some sort of level of support. I moved with all of my life, my clothes, my equipment, less than $1,000 to my name, all packed into a Honda Civic, and drove down to Miami. My car actually broke down in South Carolina on my way to Miami, but that is another story for another video. Not too long after I moved to Miami, my song started taking off in the New York City market. I had released the song earlier that year. It was now late 2011 when it went viral. When did you first hear about my music? Let me know in the comment section below. So now that you know a little bit about where I was when it went viral, let's talk about how it went viral in the first place. I want to start out by saying that at the time, I had no idea what was happening or how it was happening, but I was able to put together some of the pieces to this puzzle over time. A dance in the Bronx started gaining traction called the Bronx Wine, and my song, Out My Way, was selected as essentially one of the best songs to do the dance to. In no time whatsoever, hundreds of videos were being uploaded to YouTube of people doing the dance to Out My Way. And you can still find some of these videos just doing a quick YouTube search for Manny Out My Way. Some of the videos have been deleted since then, but there's a good amount of them still up there. To this day, I still have no idea about how my song was selected for this dance, who was the tastemaker that made it happen, or how I got so lucky to be included in the first place. All I know was that I started to get a ton of messages from women who were actually impacted by the lyrics to the song as well. How did you first hear Out My Way? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comment section below. Well, going viral sounds cool, so what did you do about it? So naturally, I moved to New York and I pursued my music career by doing hundreds of shows. No, I didn't. I did do that later, but I'll tell you more about that story in another stories video. I actually didn't do anything, nothing whatsoever, to take advantage of my big break. At the time, I had just signed a lease to my new apartment with my fiance and our son, and I was just settling into my new job in Florida. I couldn't just up and leave to New York. I was finally getting my finances in order. I also didn't really have my online presence optimized, so nobody really contacted me about going to New York at all during these times as well. I also remember vividly getting so many YouTube subscribers a day that I turned off the notifications on my phone because I couldn't get to my actual email. I would kill to have this problem today. If you subscribed to my YouTube channel sometime in 2011 or in 2012, Let me know in the comment section below. So all I did was stare at the numbers and watch this opportunity pass me by. And it definitely had an impact on my mental health. For a long time, I believed that that was it for me, that I would never have an opportunity like this again, and that I completely blew whatever chances I had of being a successful artist in the music industry. The amount of what ifs that crossed my mind during this time of my life was overwhelming. My anxiety increased like crazy during this point, where I had to just tell myself, stop worrying about what you could have done and just worry about what's in front of you. I definitely partied a lot during this time of my life as well. Anything that could kind of get me out of the studio, because actually when I was in the studio at this time, everything was just really depressing. Everything I was writing was depressing. All the songs I was writing was depressing. Definitely not a good time in my life. I put out 2 songs in 2012, Can't Do This Alone and Fallen Out of Love, but neither of them had gained any traction whatsoever. And it was really at that point that a whole bunch of realism set in, that I was a one-hit wonder and that all I would ever be known for ever in my career would be Out My Way. I think any artist that has ever been in this position to question whether or not they're a one-hit wonder probably has felt this. The idea that your best work is behind you is a pretty scary notion. I didn't know how it happened. I would never be able to replicate it, and no song that I ever put out from now on is ever going to have the kind of success that Out My Way had. Whenever I tell this story to somebody I know today, they inevitably ask me, okay, well, it's a learning experience, so what would you have done differently if you had the opportunity? While there are a million things I think I could have done in my music career, I absolutely know that the number one thing I should have done was communicate more. Today, I am far more focused on building individual connections with my biggest fans, maniacs. If you consider yourself to be a fan of my music, you should subscribe to my mailing list by clicking here or through the link in the description below. Subscribing to my mailing list will help you stay up to date with my music, and you'll be one of the first to know when a new song is out. I'm also giving away 1 free merch item every single month to a random active subscriber, so if you want a chance to win free merch, click the link in the description below. While I had more listeners than ever before, I didn't take the time to communicate with my biggest fans. I think having more connections with my fans too would have inspired me to continue going, because I was just looking at the numbers and I wasn't really thinking too much about the impact I was actually having on people's lives. I was so focused on everything that I was doing wrong that I didn't give any attention to all of the things that I was actually doing right. And while I had personally lost faith in myself, some of my closest friends actually ended up believing in me more than ever before. Some years later, one of my closest friends was adamant that it wasn't too late for me to pursue my career and that I just needed to put myself in the right place at the right time. He told me that I needed to move to New York, and I remember him calling me saying, "I'm moving to New York, you should come with me." Less than 2 weeks later, he secured a transfer at his job and was on his way, and after about 2 months of contemplating, I had finally decided I am gonna go too. I was about to take the biggest risk I had ever taken in my life for my music career, but I'll tell you more about that chapter in my next stories video. Make sure you subscribe so you know when my next stories video is released, and click here for a playlist of my new podcast, On The Way Home Radio, where I talk about my current stories in real time. Thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me that you listen. Share this video with one friend, and as always, be great.